Hello, my name is Jasmin. I'm a university student and have been a TWB Community member since 2021. At that time, I wanted to get more involved in volunteering and I read a social media post about places to go for that. TWB was the option that looked most interesting to me because you can access it from anywhere in the world and contribute meaningfully to NGOs and other organisations just through language skills, which is something that many people already have in 2 languages or more. And the kind of work that I found most exciting to do for TWB has been support for organisations that work with people from multicultural backgrounds and that also cater support to people from various age groups. While at university, I've also tried to get involved locally though, and one of the ways I did this was through the Oxford Hub Languages Exchange, which is a language exchange that we host both for refugees and people who've moved to the UK for other reasons. We don't really make a distinction or ask people, but they can speak about their experience and it can form part of the group setting. Mainly what we do is try to break down language barriers by doing different practice scenarios, such as a role play for what it's like to go visit a doctor in the UK. Sometimes attendees also bring their children who have started going to school in the UK, and they might like to demonstrate the new skills they've learned, but also use us to mediate with their parents and share that information because the parents might not know English that well so far. I personally find all this work really interesting because I myself have moved through different cultures and languages and lived in 3 different countries. I first lived in Israel and then in Germany, and now for university I've moved to the UK. And my experience moving away from Israel was also related to war and to being a refugee, because my parents and I left when I was only 3.5 years old following the Second Lebanon War. All my memories surrounding it are obviously quite blurry because I was very young, but I mainly remember the confusion of not understanding where my friends were and why I had to say goodbye so abruptly. And then also moving to Germany and not speaking any German in kindergarten made it very difficult to connect with people. I remember being laughed at a lot by the other children and also not managing to get help from the people working at the kindergarten. One really funny occasion of this was when the kindergarteners came up to my parents one day and said, "It makes it quite difficult that your daughter always speaks Hebrew." And my parents laughed and said, "Well, she's speaking neither Hebrew nor German, we don't understand her either." And I just made up my own language. What I think this last point shows, and maybe it's an experience that other people have had too, is that language is both something very global and something immensely unique. And I think it's exactly for that reason that translation work and humanitarian work through language is so important. Because it's not just enough to speak a language such as German or Hebrew or English, but we need to constantly strive and improve our skills to understand personal, individual language and communication, which is different for every single one. And I think that's what TWB is really great at doing.